Namaskar, hello, vanakkam. Welcome to the second episode of the Ultimate Meditation Podcast. In today's podcast, we will explore the path of self-enquiry, that is, Vichara Marg, as a route to eternal peace and happiness. We will look into its meaning in depth and how it is to be practiced effortlessly and why you should practice it in your daily life. I recommend switching the subtitles on for better experience and clear understanding. The structure and content of this podcast is kept as simple, meaningful, and relatable as possible, with no frills attached. You may pause and replay any part of this podcast as you will. We all desire to be happy, free of worries, problems, and any burden. Every individual is battling with one problem or the other. No life is free from sufferings. Some are struggling to put food on their table, others are fighting chronic illnesses throughout their lives. Then there are others who are struggling hard to keep a balance in their relationship. Some are drowning deep in the drugs and alcohol addiction. And some are just lost and unable to figure the meaning of life. In a sense, everyone is just carrying the heavy burden called life on the small shoulders and trying to make it till the end somehow, fully knowing that it is only death awaiting at the end of this tedious hustle. But the good news is that our very nature is happiness itself. It is our real nature, the most fundamental of all living beings. Yet we remain oblivious to this real fact and instead feel compelled to join the race of accumulating wealth, power, knowledge, lavish experiences, seeking unethical sexual pleasures. However, on the hindsight, truth stands plain and naked. Our default nature is happiness. We are all born to be happy. Should you care less for what could be gained from this outwardly world and make a little attempt at finding out who you really are, you have unlocked the key to eternal happiness. The one which was and is already yours, which is independent of your current circumstances, which is filled with love, peace, courage, wisdom, grace, and hope. If this is the kind of experience you are looking for, then continue to stick with me because this journey is going to get very interesting now. The most direct way to such happiness is self-enquiry, Vichara Marg. Ask yourself a question. Who am I? You may assume a meditation pose with your back straight and eyes closed and sincerely make this inquiry to yourself. Who am I? Repeatedly. Become a seer of your thoughts. Watch them intently. Gradually, the mind becomes quiescent and less thoughts appear. Just as even a single thought crosses your mind, ask again, who is thinking this thought? And the reply comes, I. Then ask again, who am I? Whence am I? What is the source of the I thought? By relentlessly inquiring into the self, we soon experience a blissful silence wrapping our whole being. Your tortured mind experiences bliss, consciousness, or self for the first time. As soon as you find this blissful state, continue to hold on to it with the help of the I thought. Just as a mad elephant, when given a chain to hold, becomes quiet, similarly, Your crazy mind becomes quiet upon holding on to the single I thought. This will prevent the mind from going out. This blissful state is the same as you experience in a deep sleep. But in dream and wakeful states, the mind becomes active and so are the miseries. But by consciously choosing to hold on to the I thought, we can remain blissful in dream and wakefulness as well. Sri Ramana Maharshi, the greatest sage of the 20th century, said, "In order to quieten the mind, one has only to inquire into oneself, what oneself is." How could this search be done in books? One should know one's self with one's own eye of wisdom. Since the self has to be inquired into by disregarding the 5 sheets, it is futile to search for it in books. There will come a time when one will have to forget all that one has learned. This self-enquiry is the most direct path to reach the source of our existence, destroying even the I thought itself at last and arriving at self-realization. I is the first thought to enter into our consciousness upon our birth and the last one to leave our body. Every other thought comes later. The I thought is the ego, which is to be destroyed with the aid of self-enquiry to reach self-realization. This path can appear difficult to grasp and practice at first, but know that it is completely natural to feel that way. It is because of our perpetual thinking habit since time immemorial, and also our mind is accustomed to solving problems through complex actions. Simple actions become boring after a while, and the mind wants to hop on to the next task one after another. However, with daily practice of about 20-30 minutes, morning and evening, your mind will develop a new healthy habit. With consistency, you will be drawn to self-enquiry, like a moth to flame, true cowbird to the moon, iron to magnet. Self-enquiry is a more subtle or intangible way to silencing the mind, whereas breath control is a gross or tangible way. Breath is the gross form of mind. Till the time of death, the mind keeps breath in the body, and when the body dies, the mind takes the breath along with it. Therefore, the exercise of breath control is only an aid for rendering the mind quiescent. It will not destroy the mind. Similarly, meditation on the forms of God, chanting of mantras, restriction of food, etc., are but aids for rendering the mind quiescent. Eating sattvic food, that is foods that are light and healthy, such as ripe vegetables, fruits, nuts, seeds, oils, legumes, whole grains, and non-meat-based proteins in moderate quantities, increases the sattvic quality of mind, meaning the mind becomes calmer, harmonious, and balanced. And that will be helpful for self-enquiry. If you made thus far, then congratulate yourself. You are already a seeker. I believe today's podcast has given you some inspiration to embark on this spiritual journey of self-enquiry, the path to self-realization from today itself. My best wishes to all of you for the same. If you wish to seek further clarity on any part of this podcast, or should you have any other questions, please feel free to write to me in the comment box below. I will be happy to respond. You can also book a 10 minutes one-on-one free consultation with me. Booking longer session is also possible. The information about the form for booking consultation is given in the description box below. For a healthy real-time interaction, I run live Q&A sessions fortnightly on YouTube. The date and time for the same will be announced on my channel's post. I will see you next week with another episode. Till then, please take good care. Goodbye. Namaskar.